What's up, guys? So we are going to do some installation of some things for the truck. First thing we are going to install is our Qualcomm. We bought a RAM mount to mount it to the dash, but in order to mount it properly, I want to put this little back plate on the inside of the dash back behind there. So this will go back behind there, and this is going to mount right there, just so it adds some stability to it, makes it stronger. I just don't think drilling holes into the dash and mounting it that way is the best way. So we got to install that. And since I'm gonna have the dash apart, I don't know why Freightliner does this. They make it absolutely impossible to get to the speakers that are up in the dash area. There might be a little too, yeah, I can correct that. Yeah. And over here, but you have to take the complete dash apart. Since I'm gonna have the dash apart, installing the mounting the Qualcomm, I got some speakers from Walmart. Not real great speakers. We're not going to be bumping or nothing, but better than the stock speakers that we have in the truck. So we're going to install that. And another thing I'm going to do is with these M2s, the dashboards are a lot of plastic, and when you're rolling down the road there, you get a lot of shaking and bumping and rattling, and it's really annoying. So what I got was this weather strip seal. Basically, it's just a foam with an adhesive tape on it. I'm going to put this all over the inside of the dash before I put the dash back on to hopefully help with a lot of the rattling and shaking and stuff, because that stuff gets annoying when you're rolling down some bad roads and stuff. And I got this idea off of Expeditors online. I was, just skimming through there one day, and somebody said they did this, so I'm gonna give it a try, and hopefully it works pretty good. Get all of our knick-knack and mounty things taken off, and we'll go from there and see if we can get this Qualcomm and everything installed. I'm gonna use my screw gun to start taking the dash apart. You are gonna need a T20 Torx bit. That's most of the little fittings right here. Just gonna take all those out. And there's two parts that we have to take apart. First is this trim piece right here that goes around. Then we're going to be taking this whole dash part out also. So I'm going to get to taking all these screws out and see if we can get back behind here to be able to mount the Qualcomm. It looks like it's going to be a little bit easier to do the dash mount. Gave it a little bit of a cleaning because it does get kind of dirty back behind that fitting there, but looks like I'd just take this screw out, this screw, this one, all the way around the perimeter of this thing, and I should be able to mount the Qualcomm to that pretty easily. Let me take that apart and we'll see what it looks like behind there and see if we can get this thing mounted. We got this taken apart. I did have to take the brake handle off just so I can slide this up over it. Looks like I'll be able to get back behind there pretty good. Be able to mount the plate on the back side, then the ball's gonna mount right there. So it will sit in front of the stereo just a little bit, but not too bad. Rarely do we ever use the buttons over on this side of the stereo anyways. Yeah, let me get my drill out because I'm gonna have to drill some holes and get this thing mounted up. All right, so what I need to do is I got my mounting holes. I'm gonna put this on the dash and mark it with my Sharpie. We will leave the part numbers for all of these parts that we got. We got this one, you got your swivel arm, and then you got another one of these that goes on the back of the Qualcomm. I will leave all the screw sizes and part numbers for all these, but first thing I'm gonna do is put the ball about right where I want it and give it some little Sharpie marks so I know where to drill. Boom. Looks level enough also, but it really doesn't matter how level you get it. This thing can swivel any which way you want it on this ball. So once that's on there, that's gonna be good to go. So Let me get that put on there, get some holes drilled, get that mounted, and I'll show you how the back plate goes on and all that good stuff. Alright, so we got our holes drilled. I had to use a 3/16 drill bit in order to make it where these screws fit into it perfectly, not too loose, good tight fit. One thing cool about this plate, that it comes with these screws, so this plate is actually threaded. The holes that it goes into, it's threaded, so once I put this on the back side and start threading this in, it will thread onto this. But I am also gonna add these locking screws on the back just to make sure it's nice and tight. Voila! I ended up switching the drill bit size a little bit bigger. It was a 732, just to make the holes a little bit bigger for the screws to fit into. We got it threaded through that back plate right now, and now what I'm gonna do is stick these little locking nuts on there just to add for reinforcement. These trucks rattle a lot down the road and we don't want it coming loose, so that's what we're gonna do.
Alright guys, so we got the ball for the Qualcomm all mounted. We will show you how we're going to mount the Qualcomm here in a minute. But before we do that, we still want to install the new speakers and then also put some of this weather stripping around. But what we're going to do next, we're going to get the whole dash taken apart. The dash is kind of 3 more pieces that we're going to have to take off. We're going to have to take this piece off, then we'll get this piece off, then lastly we'll get this piece off, and that's going to enable us to get to where the existing speakers already are. We'll switch those out, get our weather stripping in, get everything back together. Let's do it.
So it's just a little 4-inch speaker. 45 watt is this. These are 30 watt with 120 watt peak. Not a huge difference. Like I said, we're not going to be bumping down the road or nothing, but just a little bit better sound than these things. I heard them in the store. It could be just because they were connected to a better stereo too, which is something we may switch out in the future. But these speakers came with they just plug in. So what I'm going to do is cut this wire and keep the plug in case we ever need to change it in the future, and just wire these wires to the back there. So let's go and do that. White is positive, black is negative. Here's where the speaker mounts, up under the dash. There's 3 screws. That's just a mounting bracket that holds the speaker up. I took it off just to make it easier. Then you got your 4 mounting screws to mount the speaker to the mounting bracket. So super easy to change out. Positive and negative. Speaker is pretty simple, you know. We got that side installed. Now we're going to do the other side. We're working on the driver's side, and one thing I wanted to show you to get this mounting bracket and get the speaker out, because it's so close to the windshield. This is one that you definitely want to take the mounting bracket off. But to get to it, the 3 screws, one of them's right here that you have to get to back behind here. So I'm going to have to take this whole trim piece off. Pretty simple. Screw on each corner. One here, one here, one there, one there. And this is one of the pieces that I'm going to want to put the weather stripping on behind, so I'm going to go ahead and get that taken apart.
Alright guys, so we got the new speakers in. They're a little bit better. You do want to make sure you test and make sure they're working before you put the dash all back together. So yeah, they are working, as you can hear. They're not the best.
It's not going to add no bass or nothing, but,
No, but
a little bit better quality than what came factory. So.
Yeah, so now we are going to put the weather stripping strips on a few spots. We also took the opportunity while we had the dash apart to kind of clean it out, vacuum, dust it down, because you get dust, dog hair, all kinds of stuff in there. So we cleaned that out best we could. We're going to get the weather stripping on. I am going to clean the dash parts before we put them back on, get everything together, then we'll show you how we finish up with the Qualcomm. All right, guys, well, we got all of the stuff we wanted to do done on the dash. We got the Qualcomm mounted. Jason can tell you kind of about the mounts that we got.
They're just RAM mounts, ball on each side. The ball goes on, mounts on the back of the Qualcomm, and this bracket here basically allows you to attach it, swivel it, move it to whatever fancies your fancy. I also use the same kind of RAM mount to mount our GPS.
Just on a smaller scale.
Just on a smaller scale, yeah. They make even bigger RAM mounts than this. And this is a 1.5 inch ball. They make a 2 1/4 inch ball, which is even probably about as big as this thing. So if you wanted to go that big, these balls are rated for 10 or 11 pounds. It's gonna rattle a little bit while going down the road, but not too bad.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna make it a lot nicer than having to keep reaching down for the Qualcomm. Plus, with the Qualcomm being on the floor all the time, it gets really hot down there, and that can't be good for it. So I'm really excited about that.
So you can still see what channel you're on, the clock. You can, it's a little hard to get to number 6. Let's see, right there, but I can do it. Now, if you use your CD player a lot, this might not be the option for you, but for us, it's perfect, you know. Sitting right here in the driver's seat, you know, you look right over there, you got your Qualcomm, GPS, phone mount.
Yeah, everything's within reach, which is awesome.
Yep, love it.
Yeah, I'm excited, and we got the new speakers in, we got the weather stripping behind all the dash parts, so that should help with a lot of the rattling.
Yeah,
it's not so bad, but it can get worse. So we just, since we were taking it all apart, might as well do that and kill 2 birds with 1 stone, right? So yeah, guys, I hope you liked the video. I hope this helps anybody who may want to mount their Qualcomm differently than the carrier mounted it.
You know what? I think we were living in the Stone Age. I think most people actually already have their Qualcomms mounted.
Well, a lot of carriers will mount them, and we did not want them to mount them, for one, because we don't know what they use. We didn't want them tearing our dash apart.
Right.
You know, how well are they going to do it?
Right.
So we opted to not have them do it, and I'm really glad, because I think that this is going to be a really good, sturdy option, and we won't have problems with it.
Yeah, a lot better option, I think.
Yeah,
so.
And we'll leave all of the products, you know, all these RAM mounts that Jason got to use. If you're interested and want to do the same thing, we'll leave them links down in the description so you can check him out, see what he used.
Yeah, easy peasy Japanesey, do it yourself.
Yeah, we love doing it ourselves.
We love doing it ourselves. You get such a sensation of accomplishment when you do it yourself. I love it.
Right, and you know how it was done.
You know how it was done, and you learn more in the process.
Yeah.
One thing I want to mention, I thought this was going to be so much harder than it actually was.
It was pretty easy.
It was pretty easy, so no, don't be afraid to try it yourself.
Yeah, and if y'all have any questions, comments, leave them down below. Thank you guys, as always, for watching and subscribing.
Until our next video.
Peace, love, and expediting.